First thing that I am super... You stink. Do you need to go outside? Did you do a stinky bum? You're a stinker boy. You're a stinker boy. Hey there! Welcome back to Vet School with Vet Med Kid. Today I'm going to be talking about the dreaded homesickness. Now, I know that a lot of you in the Northern Hemisphere have just started vet school or have been going for a couple of weeks now, and it's probably getting to that time when you're starting to miss home. All the excitement of starting vet school has not worn off, but just it's not as exciting because you got into the daily routine, and now you're kind of remembering that you miss little creatures like your doggo, or your mom and your dad, or any other family members and friends. Today I'm going to talk with you about my experience about missing my family and my home, and I'm going to talk to you about some tips that I have with dealing with homesickness. If you saw my first video about how I got into vet school, you'll know that I live in New Zealand but I study in Australia. You might also know that I'm a massive homebody, so I love being around my family, I love being around my friends, and the longest I'd ever been away from them all was 10 days. When I went for a sailing adventure. So moving across the ocean was a pretty big deal for me. A few things that I absolutely love about being home is I adore hugs. I find that I feel really lonely if I don't get one hug a day, which is kind of pathetic, I think, but also it's how I roll. I find that when I'm at home and all of my family members are working hard on their uni or their own jobs, I get motivated. And so when I'm stuck at uni working in my own room by myself, I found it hard to motivate myself because it was all on me now. And of course I could have gone and studied with friends, but you've got to choose the right friends for that, otherwise you end up getting distracted and talking about the day rather than what you're actually learning. A few things that I found really difficult about moving was that my life was different in Australia to what it was in New Zealand. In terms of I was doing new things and my friends were carrying on with the routine of their normal lives, but I was missing out on that routine. All my friends were turning 21, and the amount of 21st parties that I've missed is can't even count it on both hands. Which was really disappointing for me because one, I get hardcore FOMO, and two, I had been through primary school and intermediate school and high school with all my friends, and to be missing such a big milestone, it kind of really hurt. Something I found difficult to explain to my friends was all the events that I was going to, or just a normal day-to-day life but with new friends that I had, because it's so much easier to explain a story when somebody knows who you're talking about. So it was hard when I kept throwing out all these new names and they didn't know who I was talking about. It was also difficult for my friends back home because they felt like they were almost being replaced, like I was finding new best friends or new friends, or I was doing new activities that would have been super fun for them to join in with, but we just weren't together. But fear not, you do get through it and it all works out in the end. So I'm in my third year, and yeah, okay, I do still feel homesick every now and again, but I have coping mechanisms that really help me through, and I'd love to share them with you. The first thing that I am super grateful for is the fact that we live in the 21st century. I am so glad that we don't have to rely on snail mail or pigeon post, because I am in contact with my family and friends every single day. So I don't know how I would have dealt with it if I was having to wait weeks on end to receive a letter in the post. On the daily, I WhatsApp my family that live both in New Zealand, and then I've got family in England and South Africa as well, so I just WhatsApp them. Thank goodness for social media. Wow, I sounded like such a millennial saying that. Thank goodness for social media, oh my gosh. Lol. I use Snapchat like crazy. It's great for the small moments in life, and I've even managed to get my mom on Snapchat so she doesn't miss out as well. She does the classic parent thing where it's like, did you save that so you can send it on WhatsApp so I can have the photo forever? No mom, this is Snapchat. I also have Instagram, obviously with my vet account, so @VetMedKid, sneaky plug. I also have my personal account, which is great to update my family and friends with the events that I'm going to or the animals that I get to hang out with, because I do miss this little boy a lot. Hey buddy. Facebook Messenger is a must for me. I call my family at least once a week on Facebook Messenger. The thing with regular contact though is you need to understand that you both have your life going on in different countries, so you're going to be busy at different times, and you need to realize that you can't put pressure on each other, because then it just becomes really difficult. You happy now? You're happy? Maybe the best thing for you to do is schedule in a weekly or every second week call with your best friends, so that you both make the time during that day to talk to each other. That way you're not putting pressure on each other to speak every single day, and it's stopping it from becoming a chore. Even a quick good morning or I love you message to your friends or family can make their day. So it doesn't need to take up a lot of your time, but it's important to let them know that you do love them still. You're not replacing them. I also like to decorate my room. So on my desk I've got some photos, my favourite photos of my little family and my two best friends. So when I am stuck, I just look over and see my family and friends and just remember the good times that we had together then, and that they still continue, just only when I'm back in the country. My dad, he always has this thing during exam time that he comes up with a new quote. Some of my favourites are flow with the stream, not against it, and hit it with a big stick. They're kind of silly, I know, but they really help me when I'm studying, even though whenever he says them I get so annoyed. My brother and I are just like, oh my gosh, Dad, stop. But because they help me, I've actually got them all around my room, so that, like with the photos, when I'm feeling stuck I can just have a look at them, have a giggle and keep going. I think it's really important to take the time with your friends and family to explain who your new friends are. Maybe show them some photos and tell them a quick story about the person. Potentially use nicknames so that when you do tell stories in the future, you all are on the same page and know exactly who you're talking about. My two best friends, Jess and Casey, also made me an amazing going away present for when I first went off to vet school. They had a little box full of different envelopes, and each envelope had a different instruction. So, open when you're feeling sad, open when you're feeling happy, open when you're feeling stressed. My favourite one was open when you feel like looking at something funny. I opened it and it was a mirror. Also, although we don't have to rely on snail mail, it always feels great when you get a letter in the post. Maybe send an occasional letter to your friends back home, or a happy birthday card or something. That way they know that you really do care and you are putting the time and effort into them. When you are back home, make time for those friends that you haven't seen in ages. A quick coffee break is a great way to catch up on everything that you've been up to and everything that they've been up to. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and maybe think about hitting that subscribe button. Give me kisses. Kisses. I love you, good boy. Okay, you can go.